Hey guys, how's it going? Celtic Reviews here to review Dying Light 2 Stay Human, one of my most anticipated games of this year, mainly because I'm a huge fan of the first Dying Light. I want to tell you guys what I loved and what I didn't love about Dying Light 2 Stay Human, 'cause there's some things I did not particularly care about in this game. So, let's just jump right into this review. So, going to this game, I had very high expectations. I love the first Dying Light. I played the shit out of the first Dying Light. And I will say, this game did meet my expectations. However, there were some flaws in the game I must point out. So first, I want to say right now that the parkour in this game is amazing. This is better than it has been. The parkour feels fun to do. Paragliding around the city is fun as hell. Jumping from roof to roof with just the smoother parkour. I honestly, throughout my entire playthrough, did not fast travel. I parkoured from point A to point B throughout my entire playthrough. And just because it was that fun. Normally, I would have to like fast travel, but just getting around the city is so much fun and it's just fun. The amount of parkour moves you can do, the drop kick has been stupidly overpowered now in this game. Just it feels smoother than ever to parkour around the city. Like the parkour is amazing in this game. When it comes to the combat though, is where we come to a sort of flaw. I don't think the combat's bad. It's still satisfying to cut limbs off of a zombie and stuff. However, it does feel a bit more floatier than the first Dying Light. Like, when Dying Light you hit a zombie, it felt like you were hitting it. It had that nice impact sound. This game sort of has that, but it just feels like it doesn't hit as hard because I think it might be because they're going for more of an RPG thing. The combat feels a bit more floatier. Now, I didn't really care about this. Going around slashing zombies up with a katana, it still feels great. It just, I don't know, the way, it might be because now they toned down the ragdoll physics. Because in Dying Light 1, it had realistic physics. This one has your traditional ragdoll physics. So it's not as realistic as like Dying Light 1's like amazing physics-based ragdoll. That might be it for me, like in terms of like why I don't think it's as satisfying. I don't know, that could be it, but I will say the combat, it does feel a bit more floatier instead of weighty. I really wish they would have just kept the same combat from Dying Light 1, but it wasn't a huge issue for me, but it was still there. In terms of the story, Dying Light 1 had a story that was passable. It it was there. It wasn't it wasn't horrible. It was just fucking there. This is where the first major flaw of Dying Light 2 comes in. To me, the story is not that good. The resolution doesn't feel great, and I got the good ending. It just doesn't feel great. There are some parts of the story where I'm very interested, but it's sad to say when some of the side quests have better stories than what some of the main quests have. I really don't, but the story just feels very lackluster. It's not even as good as the first one. Like, if it was on par with the first Dying Light, I wouldn't have an issue. But man, just the story to me really disappointed me, especially since this Dying Light is more focused on the story of Aiden and finding his sister. It's more focused on that. I don't know, it's just to me the story really didn't hit that good at all. But I mean, it wasn't horrible. It's not on the level of something like Dead Island that didn't have that great of a story. It's bad, but it's not horrible if that makes sense. Like it's you can put up with it. The voice acting mostly great. It's on the same level as Dying Light 1 where the main characters have great voice acting, but a lot of the side characters have very horrible voice acting. So it's literally on par with the first Dying Light. If you didn't mind the voice acting in that game, you're not going to mind the voice acting in this game. Um, for some reason they did remove some features from Dying Light 1 that confused me. The main one being repairing your weapons. Now the way you repair your weapons in this game is you attach mods to your weapon and it increases the durability back up. I much prefer repairing my weapon. I don't understand why they did this. It's weird, but it's something I got used to after playing it for 3 hours. I just kind of miss repairing my weapon. The next major flaw with this game, though, and like I said, this game's not horrible, I do like it, is the performance. I had 5 crashes throughout my 125-hour playthrough, one of which was right at the end of the game, which scared me because I thought I was going to miss the ending cutscene, but I didn't. And I had a lot of frame rate issues. I mean, a lot of frame rate issues. I played this mainly on my Series S. I played some of it on my Series X, and this game it is 30 FPS on Series S, but it would dip crazily into like below 30. So I would recommend just playing this on Series X or PC or PS5 if you can. But if you have a Series X and a Series S and you're willing to put up with the low frame rates from time to time, by all means, it is worth a playthrough. Now, when it comes to the content in the game has a ton of content. I managed to put in 125 hours to this game and I'm still not done. I still have a lot more activities I want to do, and with the 5-year post-launch content that's coming, it's safe to say that Techland is really wanting to keep this game going like the first Dying Light. And this game isn't horrible. I do think, honestly, this is going to be one of my Game of the Year contenders just mainly because of the gameplay. The RPG systems work well, even though most of your choices don't really matter. It's pretty cool to have that in Dying Light. The whole gear system is perfectly implemented. The gear to me feels very rewarding and satisfying, especially when you go scavenge and loot and you find a legendary weapon. It's a very satisfying loot system. Isn't as good as something like Borderlands? No, but it is very good. I did enjoy the loot system. I did enjoy scavenging buildings for new weapons or killing a GRE enemy to get to unlock the access to the trailer and get new gear, get new clothing, and get new weapons. That is fun. This game is fun to me. It's just the two major hiccups, the story and the performance sometimes, which I hope they patch later on, just kind of hold it back from being a 9 out of 10 for me, or 8 out of 10. If I'm being realistically, and me putting my fanboyism for Dying Light aside, realistically to me, Dying Light 2 is a 7 out of 10 game. It is a good game, and I do recommend it, especially with the amount of content that's in it for $60, is well worth the price. But just know that the story is not going to keep you going for a long time. What's going to keep you going is the fun as fuck gameplay and the fun setting and the fun parkour. That's what's going to keep you coming back. I'm Celtic Reviews, and I'll see you guys with my next review.